In this lesson, I'm going to explain how to use the cap properties with 3D text. Cap properties are bevel and inflation with its brother deflation. Now, I talked about the cap properties in the previous chapter, so I'm not going to cover them in detail here, but I do want to show you some things in terms of how they apply to text. To follow along, go to Photoshop and open that up. Let's make a new document, File, New. There we go. And let's make some new text here. I'm going to put my text down low here so the ground plane looks more normal. Cap, prop. And let's extrude this. So go to 3D Extrusion, Create. All right, let's just kind of zoom in a bit by doing Control or Command 0 so you get a better look at this. I think I want to pull the ground plane toward me a bit, so I've got the Slide tool selected. I'll just pull it like this, bring it in like so. There we go. This way you can see the bevel and the inflation just a little bit better. First order of business is to add different colors to the bevel and to the extrusion so we can see them. So let's go over here and click on the front bevel and change its color to something else by clicking on the color swatch here. And let's go to red, for example. You can pick whatever color you want. There you go. You won't see anything yet because we haven't made a bevel yet. Let's go down to extrusion here and change that color to something that's pretty obvious. I'm going to go with green here, which is not only obvious, but kind of disgusting looking. But let's just go with this so we can see what's going on. And now let's give this a bevel. So select it over here in the 3D panel, got the text selected, and go over to the cap properties, and there's the bevel. Now, when I talked about bevel before, I used the controls here. But let's take a look at the little bevel control over here. The right side is the inflation control, and the left side is the bevel control. So let's just take a look at the bevel control here. Right now it says the bevel angle is 45 degrees, which is the default amount, and then the bevel set to 0. So let's just drag it right to increase the size of the bevel there, and you're going to start seeing red showing up here. There you go. There's our bevel that we put in there. I want to change the degrees. I do that over here by dragging it up or down. Go inside like that. That's a deflation in terms of a bevel. Let me zoom in a little bit more by doing Control or Command plus so you get a better look at this. Pull this guy down a little bit like so. Take my hand tool here and lift this up so you can see the controller better. All right, that's how the bevel works. Let's take a look at inflate. I want to reset this, and if you watch the lessons from the previous chapter, you know that if you use the Reset Deformation button in the cap properties, you end up dropping the extrusion to 1, which is not a good thing. I'll click on it to show you what I mean. Boom, it knocks it down to an extrusion of 1, which is not what you want. So I'm going to undo that by going to History, and we'll go back one notch here like that. Now let's go back to 3D here. And instead of using the Reset Deformation button here in the cap properties, let's use it over here in the Deform. Click on that, and now that does remove the bevel, which is all that we wanted. All right, let's go to the cap properties now and do an inflation. If you go to the right side, it says inflation, and 45 degrees is the default. If we just lift this guy up like that, we increase the strength of the pillow there, or the inflation. There we go. Pull it down, we go back to 0. We want to have it go inside. If we want it to be a deflation, we need to change the angle to a negative angle. Let's pull that down like so, and then increase the strength. There we go. It's actually pulling it in. Let's rotate that a bit just so you can see that. Go click on this thing here and just rotate it a little bit so you get a chance to see how that really works. It's actually going inside there like that. Okay. Let's bring you back to where we were before. So that's all well and good. What I want to show you also in terms of text is internal constraints. Text is loaded with internal constraints. Let's go back out here and take a look at everything by doing Control or Command 0. Let's push this guy back a little bit. There we go. The internal constraints are these little holes here. Text is full of it. You got the A, the P here, the O, and the P. Those guys all have internal constraints. They have little holes carved into them. When you have internal constraints, you can kind of play with them a bit when you use bevels and inflations. So let me show you how these internal constraints kind of line up. Let's go back to 3D here and notice what you have here. You've got all these boundary constraints. So if you count up the number of boundary constraints, they'll be the same number you have over here in terms of characters and that one period at the end. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 3, 7, 8 things here. Each boundary constraint applies to one of those letters of that period. If you click on one, it's not going to be left to right. Click on that one, you see it's the P over here, and it has an internal constraint associated with it. That's the hole there. This is this one there, and that is this P over there with a hole in it. This one doesn't have a hole. You can tell it's one of these guys like C or R, but there it is, that's C. But if you want to work with a particular one like that letter A, there's no way for you to know which one it is by looking at these things. They just say numbers. They don't say what the letter is. So I want to use the internal constraint on the letter A there. Let me zoom in on that just a little bit by doing Control or Command plus and pull it over with my hand tool like so. If I click on the inside of the A here, And click on that, and you can see the little blue line show up, barely show up. That means we have selected the internal constraint for the letter A, and there it is highlighted there. Who knew that the internal constraint was going to be that one, number 10? Now that we've selected that, you can see that it's up here. It says 3D constraint, and it's a hole. Let's change it from a hole to active. When you do that, it looks like it's just filled up. But this is where the fun begins, folks. I'm going to go back over here and click on the cap properties text, and then go over to the cap properties for that text. Let's say I want to add a bevel now. So I can go over here, increase the width. What it does, it adds a bevel around that constraint as well. Pretty neat. You could change that, let's say, to an inflation. So down here instead, we're going to make an inflation. Do the same thing. So you have all these internal constraints that you can play with when you have text. It's kind of nice. You can do some with and some without. So the letter A, kind of small, maybe that works pretty well. Let's go down here a little bit and take a look at the P. We can do that as well. So let's click on the P and the inside there, and that selects that internal constraint. With it active like that, we can then decide to make it, instead of a hole, make it active. And now you can see how it then is also affected in the same way. So that's how I use the cap properties, bevel and inflate, with 3D text, knowing that you can highlight individual internal constraints and have them be included in the bevels and the constraints if you make them active.